is, why does feminism have such a negative connotation in our current culture? And here are a couple of images for you. A t-shirt image, feminists are stupid, throw rocks at them, and several women holding up signs that have negative ideas about what feminism is. Very interested in this because Anne Malor, in the essay we read for class, talks about how feminism began with women like Mary Shelley writing about the culture they lived in as patriarchal, advances in science as actually being patriarchal at that time, advances in industry, advances across the board being seen as patriarchal in nature and leaving the feminine and the feminist behind. This is also borne out by another scholar of Mary Shelley and Frankenstein, Diane Long Hoveler, who wrote this article as a chapter in the Cambridge Companion to Mary Shelley. And what she suggests is Shelley may have had even more than just the surface layer of Victor Frankenstein's actions as patriarchal in terms of recreating life. She also suggests that Shelley may have had some of this as a result of her own marriage to Percy Shelley, who was not particularly faithful, who was very egotistical, and he had a very cavalier idea about marriage vows, family responsibilities, and societal conventions, which meant, okay, the men can go play and do whatever they want to do, and the women are supposed to then adhere to societal conventions. A writer from Pacific University in Oregon, Martha Rampton, wrote this short piece, and it originally appeared in Pacific Magazine. She's a professor of history, director of the Center for Gender Equity at Pacific University. She suggests that there are three waves of feminism. The first wave was the one coming right after Mary Shelley's time, and it would have been late 19th century, early 20th century by the time it really gained momentum. And it was all about women's rights and getting women the right to vote and so forth and be fully recognized citizens. The second wave was more about, she suggests, in the 60s and 70s, gender equality as far as women being able to have a career, making decisions about limiting the size of their families, and some ideas like that. And then the third wave, she says, is the one that is in place right now. It began in the mid-1990s. And it is the one she feels that comes under scrutiny for having some negative connotations, although she says in her article that these women are empowered and strong. They don't see themselves as victims, and they actually are defining feminine beauty for themselves instead of having men define that for them. They've also, and this is really important in terms of what we've been reading this semester, they've developed a rhetoric of mimicry, reappropriating terms like slut and bitch as not derogatory but empowering. This woman, Lauren Southern, has put out a video that's gone viral that is very negative about the feminism, suggesting that she is not a feminist, and here are the reasons why. And what's interesting about this particular source is Jenna Christian, who has studied gender issues, took every point that she made and responded to it very respectfully, which made a dialogue that has continued, and you can follow it on social media. So the idea has come up that there are three different kinds of feminism, three waves. One of them characterized very negatively. In fact, this meme suggests that the first and second wave would not recognize feminism as it is expressed by third wave of feminism women. What I wanted to come back to when I was talking about appropriating words, we know from Cooper's essay about Dorian Gray and the Chainsaw Massacres and Buffy the Vampire Slayer that the homosexual community has appropriated the word queer and tried to make it a term of power for themselves, a term of empowerment. However, Cooper suggests when homosexuals are represented as monsters, that whole idea of empowerment falls apart despite the fact that they're using those terms. This is borne out in Anne Rice's The Vampire Chronicles with respect to feminism. She has a very strong feminine character who is befriended by Lestat and his contemporaries. But her idea of feminism is that she wants to kill all the men. She wants to rid the world of as many men as she can to change it from a patriarchal to a matriarchal society. So once again, you have an idea that becomes monstrous, or you have a way of life or a way of looking at the world or an identity that becomes monstrous in terms of monstrous society because of the way it is portrayed. Anti-feminists actually baffle feminists, and that is an interesting idea too, that the idea that women who dress up in lipstick and high heels and perhaps feel that women should be subservient to their husbands and so forth cannot be feminists. This article suggests that what it's really about is that it is a whole lot of ideas, and putting it into a box really does not help us. What really we need to hear is that feminism has many diverse voices and many diverse ideas in it. This article also backs that idea up. It's written by a man, Tom Head, who's a civil liberties expert, and he suggests that the future of feminism is in its ability to accept diversity instead of putting one another down for not accepting exactly the same ideas. I'll leave you with this meme that has many different terms, possibly keywords, that are associated with feminism.